Hello guys, welcome again, and we have done with the user registration screen, and now this is the time to create user login. After registration, user will log into the app. So before coding login in the Android project, we need our web services that will handle the user login. So come inside your DB operations class, and here we will create a public method, public function user login, and while login user will provide username and password, and if the username and password will match to the database, we will say the user is authentic and we can let him log in. So create an stmt again, and we'll write an SQL query here. Select id from users where username is equals to question mark and password is equals to question mark. I have given an AND operator because while login username and password both should match with the actual data that is stored in the database. So we need an AND, then we will bind the parameters, bind underscore param. The first parameter define the data type. Again we have two strings, username and pass. But wait, password is stored in an encrypted format and password is stored in hash 5 in database. So again we need to first encrypt the password, and we will pass this password on the SQL bind param method. Yes, that's it. Now we will execute it. We will store the result, and then we will return stmt num rows is greater than 0. That means if the above query returns any result, that means user is authentic and the user is available in the database table. So we can let him log in and this method will return true. But after login user, we also need to fetch that user's details from the database. So we will create one more method, public function get user by email. Again we will pass the email, or we are using username here, so we will write username here, username, and then again we will write stmt equals to this con prepare select asterisk. This time we will select all the records from the table from users where username equals to question mark. Again we will bind the parameter, bind param, first parameter, this time only single one, single s, and then username. Then we will call the get result method, and then we will convert the result into an associative array using the fetch underscore assoc method, and we will return this data. The methods are ready. Now we will create one more script inside v1 that will handle the login. So create a new file and save it as user login.php. Again we need these two lines, actually these three lines. So copy it, paste, php. So if there is a post request, we will check the required parameters are available or not. So again we'll write if is set and is set. This time we have only two, post username password. That's it. Else we will add an error message. So again we can copy this lines and paste it here, and at the end we will display the message in JSON format. Okay, now if we have the required values, we will create a db object, db equals to new db operations. Then we will check if the user is authentic or not using the user login method that we created. So pass username and password. So if this method returns true, that means the user is correct and he can or she can log in. So we will again fetch the user details inside this block, this if block. So we will write get user by username. Or let's cross check the method name, get user by username. I'm copying it and paste it, and we will pass the username. So copy this and paste it here. So we have the user data, store it in the variable user, and then again we will create the response array. This time error would be false, there is no error, and id would be the user id, user id, and we have email username in the database, email email username. So, and if it comes inside the else block, that means the user has provided wrong username and password. So in that case we will write that you have given invalid username and password. So error is true this time, and we will write invalid username or password. So that's it, I guess. Let's test it. User login, email nahi, username. We have to pass username and password. So username was ajad@gmail.com and password was 123. For that we registered. So let's start. Oops, we are getting invalid username and password. Username, oops, we have to pass username and I'm passing email. So username was ajad, send. Again we are getting invalid username and password, so there is some error. So let's cross check the codes. User login, username, pass, check the database, password, username. So no issue here. And check the database. Oops, username is Ajad Khan. Silly error. Username is not Ajad. It is Ajad Khan. Send. There is an error on line number 47. So let's check line number 47 and what is the error. Let's read the message. Fetch a sock. Oops. First we need to call the execute, then we can call get result. So this was the error. Let's check again, and yes, it's working. We are getting error false and we are getting the all the user data in JSON format. So that's it for the video, friends. And if you are having any confusions, please leave your comments below the video, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.